right. What's going on, everybody? It is your boy, your man, your guy, your tag team partner, the one person that you need in any Survivor Series elimination chamber match. Elimination chamber match. I am your guy. What's going on? It's DEADONDAVE. What a bad intro. But it's been a while. It's been a while since we've done the wrestling. Maybe I'm a little bit nervous. Maybe I've got the jitters. Maybe I'm going to go out there and just get rolled up by the schoolboy master himself. Good Lord, why am I trying to do too much? It's one of those weird things. We're going to try to do too much because it's the first show back. Look, it's been a while since we covered wrestling with any serious intent. It's been a real long time. But I'm excited to get back into it because for the first time in a while, I actually give a shit about wrestling again. I care about it. The conversations are not driving me crazy. That's the big thing. Like, the product doesn't have to improve for me to want to get back into it. For the longest time, having conversations about wrestling made me want to hit myself with a goddamn tack hammer. And most of the time, punch you people as well. But I don't know if it's just the time off. I don't know if absence makes the heart grow fonder. I have no idea. But I'm able to talk about wrestling again and not want to punch babies. And that's a real big thing. And that allows me to come back here and hang out with some of my favorite people in the whole world, my mush puffs. Like Amy Leanne, what's going on? Carl G, the fake-ass twat, the man who made this background and thumbnail that you're enjoying today. GunCannon will be probably blowing this out of the water. Sorry, Fake. I know how Gun gets. And he's probably going to make a statement. But Fake's going to be handling this point right now with all of the frames for the SmackDowns and everything. And if guns suck, I have these. Perfect. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So thank you very much, Fake Ass Twat. Make sure you follow him on Twitter. He's pretty damn awesome. All right. So we're starting with Monday Night Raw today, but it's not the only thing that we're going to be talking about. I do got a couple other things in the wrestling world that I do want to get into, but we're going to start with Raw, and it really shouldn't be the longest conversation in the world. I feel the last couple of weeks, Monday Night Raw is like markedly improved. I'd say over the last month, you could see a lot of improvement, not only in just Raw, but I think in WWE as a whole. 205 Live has stepped up even more. NXT continues to be the best thing in wrestling. Not the best thing in WWE, the best thing in wrestling. There's nothing even close to it. NXT as a brand is starting, in my mind, to become one of the greatest promotions wrestling has ever seen. It has the longevity now. It's been around for a long number of years, headlining its own events, doing its own thing. It's doing a fantastic job, and it does it despite the fact that talent keeps getting taken, not just from the WWE main roster anymore, but also from NXT UK. So I think it's important just to take a second and really appreciate how good NXT is. But it feels like over the past month that WWE has improved. That's the point. Everything has gone further. That's why at first I was really shocked and a little bit confused by the addition of Heyman and Bischoff. I know that Heyman's been around and he's been kind of having his fingerprints on stuff for a while, but the Bischoff one was the one that kind of weirded me out. Like, I didn't understand it. I think Bischoff is a genius, by the way. I think he understands how to market television towards people, and that doesn't just stop at wrestling. He understands how to make television. He gets it. And we don't have enough of that, to be honest. So it's a really good thing. So bringing him in, I was a little bit confused by, because I really do think that the products were going in the right way. And then hearing everything with Triple H, taking a step back from all the main stuff and just kind of focusing back on NXT, I wasn't sure what to make of it. And I still have my theories. I don't know if Vince is kind of in the death throes of power here, but I got a feeling something else is going on that we don't know about. We've seen a lot of changes to creative. A lot of people that Triple H had put in place and helped maneuver in place, they got taken away, and some of Vince's old people came back in. I don't know, man. It just kind of makes me wonder just how much sway Triple H really had. It kind of feels like, hey, Triple H, you're doing a fantastic job with the NXT. I think you should really focus your time on there and maybe, keep on banging Stephanie. It'll be a good time for everybody, and I think everyone will be sports entertained. I got football coming up. I got the XFL. I mean, I need you, big guy. It feels like one of those. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm 100% wrong. I don't feel like I'm wrong. I don't, but we'll see. Amy Land, you feel that they're threatened by AEW. I don't think it's just AEW. I think that they're threatened. I don't think there's really much to be threatened about by AEW. When the marks stop taking off, if they actually take off their fanboy helmets just for a moment, AEW has not been that impressive. I'm sorry, they just haven't. They just haven't. It's been overblown shit, and the numbers are fucking garbage. They literally proved they couldn't give away a fucking pay-per-view. They couldn't give it away. It didn't draw as much as the paid fucking pay-per-view. I'm sorry. That's a problem. That's a big problem. But that'll be another discussion for another day. But yes, I do think that WWE is clearly threatened by the wrestling culture. Because if it's not AEW, if there are people who are going to get into the wrestling industry who are going to try and take on WWE from a non-bitter and jilted lover standpoint, I think WWE is vulnerable, or at least they were. I do think that's changing now, and it's making it a little bit more palatable. We'll talk about all this stuff at the end of the show. Let's get into the Raw review because we're really yet to even do that. So, Raw started out action. I was really happy about this. No build, no stupid 15-minute monologue, no challenges in the ring, none of that shit. Boom, straight to the fucking. I like that. We got Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins versus Andrade and Zelina Vega, who I just... Anyway, I digress. Match was okay. Slowed down. They made it an elimination match, because of this whole commercial thing, which is the first thing we're going to talk about, because I think it's the most important thing. This commercial break shit, this no wrestling during commercial breaks, that itself is not necessarily a problem. What the problem is the way that they're trying to combat this. The elimination matches, the 2 out of 3 falls matches. We're having way too many gimmicks on television, on regular-ass TV. We don't need it on regular-ass TV this much. It's not working. It really kind of breaks up everything in a real bad way. It's kind of funny when you think about it, too, because the whole intent... supposedly the whole intent here is to make WWE feel more like a real sport. Vince is like, well, we don't feel like a real sport enough. We got to have, no wrestling. Football doesn't continue to be played, during the commercials. And, same thing with baseball. Everybody takes breaks. We need to have breaks. The problem is it doesn't work in wrestling. It's not making it feel more real. It's making it feel faker. It's making it feel worse. There's something magical to me growing up about wrestling programs taking commercial break. We missed part of the match, but we know we didn't miss anything that important, and anything that we did miss, it was going to be a craziness of replays, and we would get those replays and we would see those things, and it would make us want to keep watching and don't miss anything that's happening at the moment. These were good stuff. This is what drew me in, because it felt real. I like what WWE has done over the last couple of years by showing the commercial, during the commercial, having a little box showing what's going on. That feels amazingly real, but apparently advertisers don't like it too much, so WWE doesn't do it during every commercial because the advertisers don't like their ads being smaller. I don't understand that either, but hey, apparently that's the reason, that's the rationale, that's why they're moving away from it. I don't get it, but the problem is now they don't have a good plan in place. These ways to extend the match, it's just not working. What needs to happen is either the matches need to end before the commercial breaks, which is impossible, because we're going to end up getting all this garbage with 7-minute matches, 5-minute matches, 3-minute matches. It'll be just constant. It'll be a never-ending stream. I guess the other option is to take the entrances out and just have them play during the commercial breaks, which I guess is a solution. I just don't think it's a very good one. I'm not a huge fan of that. So I just think you got to kind of, in this case, you have to keep it the way it is. You can't do this. You can't have this many gimmick matches. It sucks and it doesn't work. Let's look at the chat real quick. Carl G, this started to annoy me so much this week. I know. 2 weeks in a row, Rose open straight up without a match. I really appreciate it. I do too. I hope they keep that up. Micro Dick Windsor, why is there no SmackDown today? Because SmackDown hasn't happened yet. SmackDown's tonight. Raw was last night, so I'm doing the Raw review now. Poof. They could also force his matches to be marginally shorter compared to before. Exactly. O's going, remember when they would play the commercial matches on the app when it first launched? Yeah, and I like that too. You know, that's a really clever thing too. What they would be able to do is just like switch over to the network. Here, watch what you're missing on the network, and then whatever you're watching on the network every so often during Raw, you're going to get these little snippets of Monday Night Raw. I think that's kind of cute or clever. At least give a portion of the screen to that. There are options, and WWE is just making the wrong choices at this point. All right. So the match, the 2 out of 3 falls match, or excuse me, the elimination match with Zelina Vega and Andrade versus the Man Squared, we'll call them. It was okay. It was okay. I like the spot with getting Lacey Evans involved. I think that was good having her down there. But man, okay, we got to talk about Lacey. She's awful. She's really bad. She's awful. Like awful. Like actually. Like bad. All right, Micro Dick, you're obviously stupid. So here, let me go ahead and give you a timeout. Think about your life choices, because if you don't understand it, I don't know how to explain it. I'm not going to let you derail the show. Sorry. She's awful. She can't talk. Her mannerisms suck. I've really fallen out of love with Lacey. I really have. And yeah, she did. She clocked Becky real good. But I just don't like Lacey Evans at all. I'm really just... Her character is so grating. And not in the good way. It's not a good grating. It's a terrible grating. It just grates on my nerves and makes me just want to punch bunches and elbows. It's just, she's so annoying. And she's bad. It's not that annoying in the good way. You want to be annoyed by heels. That's a good thing. But Baron Corbin is such a black hole of entertainment himself, where he's awful. He just sucks all the fun out of the room. That Lacey really gets kind of exposed for being so awful. I agree. She needs more time. She needs to be in NXT. They pulled her up far too quickly. She needs to be down in NXT. She needs to be developing. She needs to be going the right way. In fact, I would throw her to those savage fucking women in NXT UK. That's what I would do. I would let her run her American gimmick over in the UK, and that way... That's trial by fire right there. You want to get her up to snuff real fucking quick? Go ahead and throw her, have her do that gimmick in the UK. It'll kill. It'll do good. She'll immediately become one of the top heels in NXT UK. And she's going to learn, because there are some fucking savage women in NXT UK. I mean, like, these bitches going to kill people. Like, it's kind of scary how good. I got to do a show just on that. The NXT UK women's division is... friggin' stacked, man. Stacked with big, athletic, talented women. Talented women, man. It's really something to behold. But that's what I would do with Lacey. I think it's an easy fix. I think that they could easily make that happen. But the problem is now they've invested too much money into Lacey, and now it's like, we're just going to keep pushing her no matter what. We're going to shove her down your fucking throats, or at least until this match is over. And then I think Lacey's probably going to go away for a little bit after that, because I don't think it's worked. I don't think it's worked all that well. There's been moments where Lacey has felt like she's connected, but certainly not enough. Certainly not enough to make it stick. So I think they're going to have to kind of cut bait on this one. Yeah, I just feel that. So Seth and Becky obviously win, which is fine. It doesn't really matter too much. The match was kind of handled weirdly. Becky was still on the ring apron, even though she was no longer in the match. It was just weird. It didn't work. After that, we continued to get the teases. Actually, after that, directly, Lacey and Baron jump Seth and Becky in a very predictable way. And, of course, Lacey does hit Becky with that disgusting right. And it was. I wonder if it looked like she made real contact, but I don't know. Not Nia Jax contact, but still. We get all the Heyman stuff, coming out. Heyman actually cut a really, really good promo. It's weird seeing Heyman now that we know that, he's in charge of Monday Night Raw. Which, quick story on that, by the way. I love this, and I hope that it's 100% true. Apparently, when WWE was clearing these new hires of Bischoff and Heyman to Fox and USA, when they pitched to Fox, they said, okay, so we're we're bringing in 2 new executive producers and all this stuff, and they were like, all right, who's going to be for SmackDown? It's like, well, it's either going to be Paul Heyman and before they even got the word out, it was like, the other guy. I don't care who it is. Is it Satan? Is it Satan? We'll take Satan. We'll take Satan. We don't care who's the other guy. It's Eric Bischoff? Oh, fuck. Well, it was better than Heyman. That's apparently how it happened, which is amazing, and I hope it's true. But Heyman cut a really good promo last night. It's the same type of promo that we always get, but he really leaned on the spoiler thing, which I really enjoyed. It's weird seeing him out there advocating for Brock Lesnar, knowing now that he's, this is the problem with the internet. It's the inherent problem because it cuts that cord because it doesn't make sense when they don't acknowledge something. Because WWE acknowledges everything now. They acknowledge relationships. They acknowledge everything that's going on in people's real lives, even to the point where it will kill off storylines. It's what they do. It's what they do now. So when they don't acknowledge it and they allow kayfabe to be restored, and I feel this is Heyman's doing. I feel this is what Heyman wants. It's confusing and weird. Maybe I don't think it is to kids. I don't think the kids even give a shit because they're not old enough to be searching all the dirt sheets anyway. They don't give a shit. But to me, it's a little bit weird. But still, Carl G, I like that he's keeping the authority stuff. I do too. But it's just weird because we know he's in charge. And because we know he's in charge, it cuts that umbilical, We can't be fed the kayfabe juice. It's hard. At least it is for me. It's hard for me to differentiate because I know it's so true. But still, it's pretty cool. Fake. Heyman said that he thinks the idea of an authority figure is outdated, so maybe this is way... No, I understand. Again, guys, I understand why they're not mentioning it. I get why Heyman's not... That's not my point. My point is it feels weird because we still know. I get why he's doing it. I just don't know if it's going to work. I'm wondering what the reactions are going to be like 6-7 months down the line. That's what I'm wondering because that's going to change shit, and maybe they're going to have to acknowledge it. And I think a lot of people would like to see Heyman in an authority role, but there's only really one thing that he can do. So, it's tough. So hopefully they'll continue down this path and it'll get less weird as time goes on. So we don't even get time to really recover from anything, like at all, because we get a 2 out of 3 falls match immediately. The Miz and the Usos versus the Revival and Elias. What the hell was that match? What was it? What happened? It was fucking boring, man. The Miz has had so many good swings upwards, but man, right now he feels like he is just lost in no Miz land once again. Just nowhere to go, and he has to stand on his own abilities, especially when he's around more talented wrestlers. And he is. I'm sorry. Everybody that he was in the ring with, except Elias last night, is a more talented wrestler than The Miz. And he gets exposed for it. I think when he's in there with better athletes, better talent, sometimes, especially in tag team environments where it's not all about you, he gets exposed. And I feel that happened last night. But it really wasn't his fault as much as it was just the match itself. It was just a boring, flat match. Just a flat, boring match, and the Miz win, and the crowd could not give any fuck about it. One of the better things of the entire night was, once again, the 24/7 title chase. And we didn't even get a fall this week, right? Nothing happened this week with a title change or anything. But this Drake Maverick situation, which seems so pathetic and so stupid and so weird for a while, it for some reason... It's starting to work. Actually, no, I take that back. It's not for some reason. It's because of this smoking hot woman that they got playing Drake's wife. Or it's actually Drake's new wife. Either way, I hadn't noticed before, like the last couple of weeks, I thought she was good looking. This week, they gave it a WWE treatment, and those motherfuckers came up like Dawn Marie style. And I was just like, oh, mother of fucking... And they put her in a dress that she actually looks good in. I was like, holy shit, this woman is fine as hell. And I got lost in that for a while. So I don't really know what happened for about 7 minutes. I got lost in a vortex. It happens every so often. But I really did enjoy everything that happened with them. I thought it was funny. It's kind of cutesy. I do wish that we would get a little bit more action with the 24/7 title. I know they're trying to do a lot for social media. I know they're trying to do it in that way. But I would like more 24/7 action and not just the same group of guys running around. I think to make this work, I think you have to go and you're going to have people come in that you're not expecting. I think you're going to have people come in, bigger stars, bigger names, maybe from NXT UK, maybe from NXT, maybe even 205 Live guys, but they got to be highlighted and not just running around the back. You're going to have to actually do something. So that's what I'm hoping happens, because it's starting to get stale, but there's good moments within those 24/7 titles. It's good stuff. And Fake says that's actually his wife. Good Lord. Man, you want to talk about hitting above your goddamn batting class. Holy shit. That is a double A dude at best hitting major league pitching. And I think I'm being generous giving him a double A. Drake Maverick is kind of chuddy. He's kind of chuddy, and yeah, he was Rockstar Spud. It's not, but she's fine. That's a bad woman right there. And I like her. I'm glad they're working her in on TV. There is something magnetic about her, and it's obviously not just her boobs. Probably just her boobs. Still, doesn't matter. Anyway, a lot of baffling things happened during Raw, just in the boring department. You know what I mean? Just the boring stuff. Like the nonstop Shane McMahon looking for a partner for Roman Reigns. It was just stupid. But the Rey Mysterio segment was very, very strange. That was a weird one. That it's like he comes back, he gives a good speech, you know, he rehabbed his ass off, he's hungrier, he's working harder, I beat the doctor's predictions, and I'm ready to compete. Anybody come out, and they're going to bring out Bobby fucking Lashley? Bobby fucking Lashley? I mean, Jesus Christ, the only time that anybody cared about Bobby Lashley was last week when people actually thought that shit was fucking real and they thought he died. Nobody cares about Bobby Lashley. Even if he is in a great segment with Braun Strowman, which he's not. He's in a middling to mediocre at very best segment with Braun Strowman. To have him come in and squish Rey Mysterio, squish a legend, I just don't get Bobby Lashley. And I did get him a little bit in TNA. At least I thought I did. Because I kind of supported him when he was, you know, the Dominator, the whatever the shit he was calling himself back then. I liked what he was doing. But this run in WWE made me question. So I actually went back and I rewatched some of his bigger matches in TNA. And no, he's just bad. And I'm sorry, you know, I don't like saying this stuff because I understand that now we live in this era where everything is shared, and if this show ever does fucking blow up, they'll hear this and they'll respond and whatever. I don't give a fuck. The problem is, you got to be able to say when someone sucks, and I'm sorry, man, Bobby Lashley has nothing going for him in WWE right now. Just go back to MMA, man. I like Bobby. That's the thing, too. I'm an Army vet. I like Bobby. I do a lot. I respect the shit out of him. I just can't watch him. He's painful to watch wrestling. He's painful to watch move. And watching him squash Rey Mysterio, you know, that could have been something cool last night. They could have put someone over from 205 Live. They could have started a new segment where it was every week. It was these new upstart high flyers. Rey Mysterio, they put him over as the greatest masked superstar of all time. Let's start rolling out the masked superstars. Let's start bringing in people from past, present, future. Let's start getting masked people in there every week to take on Rey Mysterio and then give us a fucking blow-off, a big payoff with a big masked superstar or somebody who's going to take the title from him, take him that throne, I should say, at either SummerSlam, Survivor Series, or Royal Rumble. This is too easy. This is a layup. You're promoting him as the greatest masked superstar of all time, and you're doing that because, once again, WWE is going to take a shot at the all-time record. They've been wanting to do this for like 15 years. Break the attendance record for masked attendees. They've been wanting to break this, and this is where this is going to lead. But this is the easy storyline, and they fucked it up in one night. And I just don't get it. So stupid. The club, I don't know. I was so down on everything this week. Including the club. Like, there was nothing. It's just like, no, AJ cannot. No, AJ, no talkie, AJ. Give Carl Anderson the stick. Dude can talk. No way, Jose. Another weird throwaway thing. I just feel like Jose could be so much more than he is. You know, he's so much more than just Adam Rose, which is all they did. They gave him the exact same gimmick and said, go out there, you're bigger, this should work. And I guess this is one of those entertaining things for the kids and nothing more. Then keep them off my fucking TV. Just keep them off because I see so much talent and ability in Jose. I really do. The dude is a beast. He's charismatic. He can move. And yet it's just this same shit. At least they got rid of the Predator dreadlocks. That's a good thing, I guess. Cesaro with an easy win. Who gives a flying shit? They do some... the Street Profits. Oh, my God. I still don't know if I like these guys or not. Last week, I enjoyed the Street Profits. This week, they're like, hey, let's do worse versions of everything that we did last week. And that's what they did with the Street Profits. Let's make them more annoying. Let's make them more boisterous. Let's make this work less than it did last week. I just couldn't stand it. It just, they were really annoying. They were really annoying this week. They had moments of good, but a majority annoying. Jamie, was Jose even that big in NXT? No, he wasn't. But that's not the point. I still see the talent in him. They brought him up too quick. That's a big problem. What's up, Terry Snow Queen? I see you. Let's give some love to Terry Snow Queen. She's having a procedure done today. A little bit of a surgical procedure. And let's give her some love. Big love to Terry Snow Queen. Everything's going to be just fine. Let's give her that love. Joshua Hampton. Good morning, Dave. What's up, Josh? How you doing, bud? Thanks for stopping in. We're just going through Raw a little bit, as much as we can go through this train wreck of a show. Not even train wreck. It was just bad and boring. I'm not going to make it like it was the worst Raw I've ever seen. No, it was fine. It was just boring. It just didn't do anything exciting for me. Doesn't necessarily equate to bad. There was no bad wrestling or anything like that. It was just boring, and I questioned the decisions. Speaking of questioning decisions, the Canellises. I guess Maria's going to be uber bitch pregnant lady that's going to hold everything over Mike's head, and which is fine because I hate Mike Kanellis. I think he's one of the least talented wrestlers I've ever seen in my entire life. One of the absolute least talented wrestlers I've ever seen walking the planet Earth ever. And I can't stand him. So I don't mind Maria being mean to him, but I just, why has everything got to be cucky? Why has everything got to be cucky? Why has Seth Rollins got to walk around in a man's man? Why couldn't it just be man squared? Man squared is perfect. The man squared. Then a little picture of Seth and Becky. But this man's man shit, I don't know, man. I guess I'm just too old-fashioned. It's just all cucky. Everything is cucky. I just feel like this conversation happened. Paul, listen to me. Like Triple H got this fucking weird drunken call in the middle of the night. Paul, listen to me, Vince. Listen to me. All the kids love cucks. They love the cucks. We gotta have cucks. Damn it, you're gonna give me a cuck. Damn it, Paul. You go out and you give me a cuck. You son of a bitch. I would love that. It would make me so happy. It would make me happy. Josh, not gonna lie, Raw sucked, but Drake's wife is hot. Yes, she is. Raw was boring, man. But Drake Maverick's wife. Who, yeah, I just got into a thing about her a minute ago. Good Lord. Woof. So yeah, the Canellises didn't do anything for me. The Cross split screen. Who gives a shit about Bayley and Nikki Cross? They're doing the best they can. Alexa Bliss was sick, so Nikki had to come in again. If Nikki's not in the elimination, or excuse me, the Extreme Rules match, this whole thing doesn't make sense. They're gonna have to blow this off sooner or later. Nobody really thinks that Alexa Bliss has really changed her persona or is different or anything. We know that this is gonna end the same way with Nikki Cross as all the other alignments work. So let's just go ahead and get to the fucking. The Viking Raiders, perfectly fine squash match against Colin Justin and Devin Justin. Perfectly fine. I'm just tired of the squash matches with these guys. They're too talented. And there's not enough going on in the tag team division. I think that you can have tag teams just lose. I don't think you have to do the jobbers. I understand that they don't want the Ascension to lose every single week, but you got to have people that we know. You got to have something. Main event is for stuff like that. I don't know. Terry, Mike, and Maria bored to hell. I agree. Old school. To be fair, if anybody in WWE is going to be a cuck, Mike fits that role too. That's very true. He does look like it. This is very true. Well, actually, we already know that the only cuck that we know about in WWE already existed. Old Brad Maddox, I want you to photograph me. What will I be doing? I'll be fucking your girlfriend, you see. That motherfucker just disappeared. Maddox just fucking disappeared. Gone off the face of the earth. Somebody try to find a Brad Maddox. You ain't finding him. He's gone forever. Xavier Woods was like, yeah, look at my stroke. Brad's like, I gotta go. I gotta go forever. Woof. So yeah, bring back. Ooh, how good would that be? WWE wants to get real meta, real edgy. Just start have Brad Maddox in the background of scenes with. Brad Maddox needs to be Maria Kanellis' baby daddy. Bang. Send me a check. Just send me a goddamn check. All right, so after all that, we go to Ricochet taking on all the Luke, the club members. It ended up just being Luke Gallows at first. Then he had to take on Carl Anderson. This was actually probably the best segment of the entire night. As much as I have sullied on from 1 week, I loved the club last week, didn't love them this week, but I didn't like anything on Raw this week. It was all just boring rehash of last week, which I don't really appreciate. You got to stop having these throwaway shows. That's the biggest problem that WWE has right now. There's too many television shows where they're like, well, this doesn't matter. If it doesn't matter, you have to cut back the product. If you're going to have at least 2 out of every month's shows, like all the shows that you do a month, 2 or 3 or more are going to be throwaways. You have to cut back shows. You got to stop acting. It's the biggest detriment to making wrestling feel real and legitimate, is to just arbitrarily have these shows that don't fucking matter. And they'll do it with television and they'll do it with pay-per-view. They don't care. That's a big problem. They have to stop doing it. They got to stop. But I digress. The best thing that happened is probably this segment with Ricochet and the club. The matches were good. We got to see some good highlight stuff. The beatdown was epic once again. AJ once again teasing the Styles Clash from the middle turnbuckle like he did last week. That was really awesome. I like that he did something different this week. That was cool. So, didn't really hate any of that. Thought that was probably the best thing that happened by far. By far. Fake Brad Maddox is hiding out in a cave somewhere. I agree. Josh Happen, do you think Shane and WWE will be WWE champion at SummerSlam? I really hope not. I really, really hope not. I will punch myself right in the face. No. Terry, Dave will find Brad Maddox when he mines the cave of Minecraft. Yes, I will. Cutting her out of 2 hours would help them out so much. I agree, but it would also lose them a lot of money in ad revenue, and they're just not going to do it. So get over that. They ain't losing ad revenue. What is already there, they ain't getting rid of. Terry, Dave, I already can do more than Tommy in Minecraft. That's what anybody can do more. If you sneeze, you've done more than Tommy in Minecraft, so that's okay. So we got some more 24/7 stuff. More of a chase continues. R-Truth didn't get his title back. Don't really care about that. Then we get the Beat the Clock stuff. 2 incredibly boring matches. Bayley and Sarah Logan, Nikki Cross and Dana Brooke. Both very, very boring. Dana gets the win and kind of goes heelish with her promo where she's like, it's a 2-on-1. She gives this long, drony fucking babble. I'm sure Will Dillon understood everything that she said. I didn't understand everything she said. But I will say, I'm glad that she's speaking slowly and clearly and she's trying to enunciate. But Jesus Christ, she's got to get a little bit faster. So it's a 2-on-1 match at Extreme Rules. I don't give a shit. I really don't. Didn't do anything with me. Didn't do anything for me. They do a rehash with Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins, basically the same stuff that had been said all night. Corey Graves goes and says it straight to him, and she goes and calls him emo head and all that type of stuff. I didn't really care for that either. Finally, we get the main events. Roman Reigns and a partner, a crippled custodian who obviously was not... If you're going to show us a guy on television that you're going to put in a mask, really weirdly, by the way, you can't have the guy that you actually put in the mask be a fucking foot shorter than that guy. Because I was like, okay, they picked a tall guy because they're going to try and have Kane be out there, right? Or something. That's what I figured. But instead, they put Cedric Alexander, who was a full foot shorter. Full foot shorter. It was painful. But said got some good moves in. What was the point of it? I couldn't tell you. Why did they do it? Who the fuck cares? Hopefully this will be a push for Cedric Alexander because he has been lost in the shuffle. Sarah Logan is a beast. I love Sarah Logan. I'm agree with you on that. Twat, I really like Dana. She's been improving. She's been having pretty decent matches with Sarah. Yeah, I know, and I agree with that. I totally agree with that. But those matches last night were not very good. Fake Sasha Banks coming back to Extreme Rules to help Bayley. That's what it looks like they're setting up. I think it's a really on-the-nose way of doing it. We'll see. Hopefully she'll just come in and attack Bayley, and we'll get that feud between Sasha and Bayley that we've been needing to have for a long time. And it'll really help the SmackDown Championship title scene. It really will. Josh, when do you guys think Brock will cash in? This Sunday. He's cashing in Extreme Rules. I think Brock is doing it. I think he's finally going to do it. I think it's time because nobody cares about the Baron Corbin thing. This Baron Corbin situation is happening. And by the way, I don't give a fuck about the rest of the match with Roman Reigns. As far as I'm concerned, the main event was hit by an airplane and everybody survived, but they couldn't perform anymore. Everybody had sprained ankles. So everybody got a sprained ankle. I don't know what happened with the rest of Raw last night. So I'm moving on. So it was just a very weird night. I agree, Fake. I really do. But I do think, yes, Brock will be cashing in Extreme Rules. And the rationale behind it is because Baron Corbin doesn't matter. Nobody gives a shit about the entire situation with Baron. But you can't have Lacey and Baron take the titles off of both Seth and Becky. It would just be, it's a big mistake if they do for a lot of reasons. However, Seth needs a shakeup. Becky needs to kind of go her own way. And I think the best way to do any of this is to have Seth lose his title directly after. But I'm not 100% convinced that they're going to go that route anymore because it looks more logical that they're going to separate Heyman from Lesnar by having Lesnar on SmackDown. Now, some people might think that's weird and doesn't make a lot of sense. I am not convinced that that's the case. And remember, just because Heyman is the executive producer over on Raw doesn't mean that he can't follow Brock over when Brock appears, once a month over on SmackDown and be the advocate. So that doesn't concern me much either. But again, it does show another hindrance in having the executive producer role known to everybody. It just makes you question stuff that you normally wouldn't question. That's the problem with everybody knowing everything all the time, because now there's nothing left to know. So I don't know. But I do think Fox wants Brock. They didn't want Heyman, but I think they want Brock. Because the numbers. They're going to want numbers. So Brock being champion going into the change to Fox makes sense to me. And then you could do another chase angle with Kofi if you want, or maybe even kind of do something with Big E here. I don't know. I think that there's a way that you can kind of get all the members of the New Day to matter in the main event picture. If you do it right. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm being ambitious, more than likely. We'll see what happens there. Fake, I'm shocked they didn't have to take a show up to promote the match. Maybe something will happen tonight. I think more than likely there's a good chance we'll see the Undertaker tonight. SmackDown should be treated more of a go-home show because Raw certainly wasn't. It really didn't. Terry, it's crazy. Shane seems to be running everything. He's everywhere. Yeah, that's the biggest change I think that needs to happen. That's the biggest change that needs to happen is we need Shane off television, and I'm hoping they're not going to go crazier with it and make him the champion or anything like that. This has gotten to a point of lunacy. Shane is not anything that we should be looking at on our television screens in 2019. I'm sorry. And I like Shane. Great athlete, but my God, this is just not good. Jamie, when do you think the Kabuki Warriors will get their first match? I feel like they might just throw it on the pre-show at Extreme Rules. I think that's very possible at this point. Everything is kind of slowed down with them and many others. There's a lot of things that have happened. I mean, Bray Wyatt, they've completely let cool down. We haven't even gotten an angle with the Firefly Funhouse in a couple of weeks. I don't get it. I understand we've seen some puppets and stuff in the backgrounds. Why let the momentum die off completely? Why does WWE continue to do this? It makes no sense to me. But I'm noticing in other wrestling promotions as well, things start happening and then everybody kind of cools back. It's very weird. It's a weird strategy. I don't know. So, look, I do have the Discord open. If you guys want to call in and talk about something, that's totally fine. I got another topic I'm going to talk about just for a few minutes because it's just something that I do want to kind of touch on. I don't want to get all crazy with it, but I do want to touch on it. But I'll take your calls if you jump into Discord. We'll take your calls, your questions, your comments, concerns, hopes, dreams, quips, quotes, likes, loves, and whatever else you might have. Make sure you also hit that like button if you get to do it. We'll say around hell. Okay. So TNA had an event over the weekend, Slammiversary or something. I don't even know which one. Bound for Glory, one of their major pay-per-views. I have no idea. Nobody cares, as TNA has really fallen off the map completely, to the point where their own network is putting in reruns instead of live. Like, there was an hour of TNA like a month ago that was a rerun instead of instead of the actual new episode. Not good. It's not good. Anyway, so they had an event, and the big marquee thing is they're also on the train of trying to push the women at the very top of the card, and they're doing it with Tessa Blanchard, who I absolutely love. Tessa Blanchard, I feel like, is going to be one of WWE's biggest misses, biggest mistakes. They really should have scooped her up. Tessa Blanchard is incredible. She's absolutely incredible. She's amazing. She truly is one of the most impressive women I think I've ever seen. I'm in love with her. She's fantastic. She's polished. She's great. I don't understand why there is this intergender thing going on right now in wrestling. I don't get it. I've never liked it. I think this is going to sound weird. This is going to sound really strange, and I get this. Because it's fake, because we know it's not real, I have an issue with it. You know what I mean? I know that sounds really, really weird, but because it's fake and it's orchestrated and they can literally do whatever they want, and in this culture and climate, everything is going to look like an SJW type move, or for a maneuvering reason of equality or whatever, nothing's going to look genuine. If it's real, I would have less problems watching it. If it was a real sanctioned fight between a man and a woman who really just wanted to get down, I think I'd have less problem with that, because I know I would feel bad if somebody gets hurt, but I'd have a less of an issue with it, because for some reason, the idea of a man and woman fighting under rules that are predetermined, it doesn't sit well for me. I don't know why that is. I just don't like intergender wrestling. I've never been a fan of it. I've never gotten it. I don't like seeing 100-pound women going over 300-pound men. I don't like Rey Mysterio beating 350-pound guys. I don't like small beating big. There's in a fake context. In a fake context, I don't like small beating big. But in a real context, I'm rooting for the underdog. I'm rooting for who's ever smaller. I'm like, yeah, knock that motherfucker out. I love this shit. But I have a big problem with it when it's fake. I don't know why. There's just a weird disconnection with it in my brain. It just is. Do you have trouble watching a man and woman fight in a movie? I guess because it's a different context. But I also don't really see it happen that often. When you do see it, you see it in such a way like Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. I think it's one of the most famous man-woman fights, especially, with guns and knives and stuff like that. But they're both trained fucking operatives. That makes sense to me. A lucha-style woman doesn't make sense. It's the move sets. It's the way the action is executed that I have a problem. You don't have that same problem in movies because you have special effects. You have graphics. You have blood packets. You have things to make it look more real. Black Widow, Black Widow beats up a lot of men. But again, we have that ability to make it look far more real. And again, trained operative makes all the sense in the world. Wrestling, we know they're just wrestlers. Their gimmicks and their characters don't matter as much. Not to the story of the wrestling match. This isn't like the days of TL Hopper, where he's going to drag a fucking plunger into the ring. We don't have that anymore. I guess I would be okay with it if we had a CIA operative turned wrestler who was just waka 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 wah. Probably one of the best things that we've had in wrestling when it comes to intergender was probably what Ronda did with Triple H. But again, that's a situation where Ronda is legit world-class judo who probably could fuck up Triple H. You know what I mean? It's like, it makes sense to me. Tessa Blanchard and Sami Callihan in this in this ultra violence bat match, no, it just didn't do anything from me. I don't know. Yo, Prince, shout out from GameStop Morning Dave. Is that my dude? Is that my guys from GameStop representing my local GameStop over here? I understand right now a lot of people are dragging GameStop on YouTube, but I got a great GameStop. I got a fantastic local GameStop with some of the baddest motherfuckers that you'll ever find slinging games. They talk to you, they care about you, and they get you good deals. So if you have problems with GameStop in general, maybe you just don't have the right store, because that store is dope as hell. Those are my people. Big shout out. How you guys doing? All right, so there we go. I think that's about all the things I'm going to touch on when it comes to the wrestling stuff today. Haven't quite hit an hour, but that's all right. We'll get Old School Matt in the chat. Let's bring him up. What's up, Old School Matt? You're probably going to be the only caller on Dead on Dave Live today. What's going on? What you got?
I'll be honest. I struggled last night just to stay awake through that damn show.
It was a rough Raw, man. It was a rough Raw, dude. There's no denying it. It was a brutal, boring Raw. And I wanted to turn it off, but I'm like, oh, my God. I'm covering it now again. I have to watch this shit.
Yeah, I think Fake said it best in the chat. The most boring Raw in weeks is the week you choose to come back.
Right, yeah, I know. Isn't that ironic? Like, I haven't done wrestling in a while, and I was like, hey, let's really just really give Dave a show. We're going to go ahead and just, because everything's about me. Yeah, obviously. It has to be.
This is your world. We just live in it.
Damn right. I'm glad you understand that. So what was the best thing you liked about Raw last night? Was there anything that got you?
Honestly, I love, and I've said this in the past, I love anything to do with AJ Styles and the club.
Yeah. It's hard. I love AJ so much. The club does bother me, though, sometimes. This is like there's nothing there. There's barely a history. I understand. This is Japan! And barely a history. Continue, though.
And honestly, if it wasn't for Corbin, I could stand Lacey Evans.
I can't get it. It's like her mannerisms and everything that she does, it drives me absolutely crazy. Drives me absolutely nuts.
To be fair, the gimmick itself, you got to remember, I grew up in the South. I've heard that all my life.
Oh, I know. And that should make you even more angry. That they're shoving it down your throat.
It would make me angry if I didn't literally have 9 different cousins and or aunts that talk exactly like that.
But she doesn't do it well. That's my problem. She talks like she's trying to eat her face. You know, she's sitting there, she's talking, she's like, I'm just going to take a chunk out of my cheek and hopefully no one will notice. Yeah, it's disconcerting to say the least.
And like I said, I'm used to that kind of crap. That doesn't mean I like the gimmick that much. I mean, they could play on her on her military background a lot easier than this shit.
They could, but instead they're pushing this weird power couple angle. And I love that they had to actually address that this week. I don't know if people noticed that. I picked up on this because they used power couple last week, but we know that Lacey Evans is married. Yeah, everybody knows this. It was a thing in NXT, and especially in Mae Young. Everybody knows this. So this week they go, you know why we're going to be the best power couple? Because we keep it professional. It's like, what? Shut up. I hate you.
I'd have to go back and watch it, but that just sounds cringy.
It was pretty cringy. Fuck. It really was. Fake, Matt doesn't sound as awkward as I remember. Good on you, albino mole rat. Hey, there you go. That was a compliment. From Fake.
Thank you, twat.
That's very nice. And a thank you, twat, will erupt in the chat. Terry, I was laughing because I was saying to myself, what review could I give Dave? Raw sucked, Matt. Yeah, that was basically it. Rating. Let's give it a rating and we'll close out the show. Matt, I'll give you the honor. Out of 10, how many copious points do you give Raw this week?
I got to give this a 4.
A 4. Oof. Yeah, you know what? I think you're right. But I think I can maybe touch that 5 line because for me to go below a 5, I kind of have to say the wrestling sucked. And I can't say that. The wrestling was boring, but the wrestling didn't suck. Except for Cedric Alexander, who didn't look like he hit anything. It looked like Cedric Alexander missed everything.
Part.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
For me, I think it's always been the fact of if it's boring me, it's more dangerous than if it's just making me pissing me off or making me mad. Because at least if I'm pissed, I kind of care about it.
Yeah, kind of last week kind of goes to that. Last week may not have been. I don't know if last week was good or not. It was weird and strange and pushed the lines and it was edgy, but I don't know if it held your attention. It did. You're right. You're very right. All right. Anything else there, Maddie?
Yeah, can we get rid of Sasha fucking Banks already?
She's not even back yet. You already want her gone.
Hey, if I want to deal with a glass bitch, I'll date a Chinese.
No,
I'll get a Chinese
no,
bride.
get out of here. Get out. No, no, we're not. No, we're not going ethnic. You're not going ethnic. No, Jesus Christ. My, if I want I want to date a glass chick, I'll date a Chinese person. What the fuck is wrong with him? What is wrong with old school Matt? That doesn't even make a lot of sense. I guess because they look like dolls? I don't know. Matt's, woo, old school Matt. Man, I miss this shit. Let's see, what graphics do I have? Do I have the one? Oh, I think I have the one that we need. Is it? Nope, that's the wrong one. What about this one? Is that one? No, that was the wrong one. What about this one? I think that was not either. Oh, damn it. I was really hoping to give you guys a little bit of love. Show you guys something because, you know, it's a special occasion. We're back. We're here doing wrestling again. Hopefully the numbers will grow. You guys got to support it. Let everybody know that we're back. It's going to take a little bit of time. But the only way that we could truly be back is if we go back to what we know, to our beginning, to our roots. And with that, I just want to remind you guys one thing before we leave. Dead on Dave Productions will forever be, as it has always been, the place where fantasies come to life. Fantasies come to life here, and we prove it on a daily basis. And there is no greater proof of that than this. We took a decrepit boy's dream and we made it a reality. Because sometimes you want to be president. Sometimes you want to be emperor. And sometimes you just want to get Superman punched right in your love box. And you all best believe that. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We're back. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, Fake Ass Swap, for the wonderful graphics. And we got a lot of stuff coming for you. Be live tomorrow, same time, 9 a.m. Do the SmackDown. Other wrestling news as well. Hopefully get more callers. We'll see you. Keep it copious, folks. And remember, as always, if you don't have talent, have talented friends. We're back, and we're kicking the doors in the wrestling community. We're out. Peace.